Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
This is Bloomberg Businessweek with Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
We were talking with John Wertheim, and I do feel like, we talk about Bloomberg in general, or just our world, the investing world, the business world. Every story has a business and I feel like market angle. And I think about tennis, obviously, consumer feeling of it, the sport, sports and what these athletes get paid. But, sometimes you need some technology, either to how fast the ball is going, or maybe something to collect balls.
Well, the thing that every one of these players here has in common is they spent a good portion of their childhood picking up tennis balls. Because when you play a lot of tennis, you're getting fed tennis balls by a machine or a person.
Right.
And then when that hopper is empty, you then go mow the balls up. If you have one of those tennis ball mowers, you're pushing.
Did you have a tennis ball mower?
Some of the places I played had the mowers, but more often you'd have a hopper, and you go press down on the hopper, and through the wires a tennis ball would go. And it's it's sort of I think back to it, and it's like kind of it was always a pain to do when you were playing tennis, but now I'm like, what a luxury to have the time as a kid to be able to do that. We're talking about this because Haitham Eletrabi is the co-founder and CEO of a company called Tennibot, and what Haitham has tried to do is create a robot that actually picks up balls for you. Haitham, good to have you on the program. How are you?
Thanks, Sam and Carl. Thanks for having me over.
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit about Tennibot and how this device works.
Sure. So just like you said, Tennibot was born out of frustration. Tennibot is an autonomous tennis assistant. To give you a visual image, think of a Roomba, but for tennis balls. It runs around the court, picking up balls, sweeping courts, clay courts, basically eliminating the most tedious part of the sport.
I totally get that. Having had a Roomba, I totally get that. Tell us about how this came to be. It sounds like it was a personal story. I feel like so many entrepreneurs and innovators, they see a problem, or they themselves have to deal with something. They're like, we can do this better.
That's exactly right. So I grew up with tennis. I played tennis as a child. I loved the sport, and I always hated picking up tennis balls. And then one time I was out on the court hitting with a ball machine. I rented the ball machine from the club and hitting with it. Then I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. I spent 25 minutes from the hour picking up balls instead of the hitting with the ball machine. Every time I go out to practice serve, which is my weakest shot, I spend more time picking up balls than serving. So I wanted to buy something. I didn't want to invent something. I wanted to buy something, but there was nothing out there. So I started tinkering around with the idea for myself. But then every time I take it out to the court, people are like, where did you buy this from? How can I buy one? Where did you find this? So I said, okay, maybe it's not just me then.
So Haitham, talk to us a little bit about the market that you recognized here. How big of a market do you identify, and who's the customer for this? Because it sounds like something that would work really well at a tennis club, but not necessarily well at a public park.
Great question. So far we have seen both sides. We have seen the B2B, like you mentioned, tennis club, academy, resort, coaches, school, all of those. The value proposition is very clear. I get this, I save time for my clients, add value to my customers. Some people offer it as a free service, and some people charge for it the same way they rent out a ball machine. And then we've seen also the B2C, which is individuals, people who play tennis regularly, take tennis lessons, have a ball machine or have access to ball machine, because the value add is very clear. Okay, I rent this ball machine or I use this tennis ball machine, but then I spend big chunk of my time picking up balls, eliminating the value add of that ball machine. So this is where the Tennibot comes into play. And we've seen interest on both sides of the equation, honestly.
All right, so tell us about, sales and revenues. We are Bloomberg. We say this all the time, but we do care about the numbers. And tell us about how many you're selling, what kind of growth you've seen. How many years have you been in business now?
Sure. So starting with, we spent about 5 years developing the technology after validating there is a market for it. Because like I said, it started as something for myself, and then spent that time developing the product, fine-tuning it, testing, sending units out for tests for different backers and getting their feedback and input and fine-tuning. And we only just started selling last month, and we have been seeing a lot of excitement around it. Honestly, we didn't expect that kind of demand. We are selling it as a one-time sale and rent to own, and the percentage is around 60% one time and 40% rent to own. And we a lot of time have to turn off the sales on the website to keep up with the demand, because we want to make sure we get it to everyone who order it and keep this excitement and positive feedback around it.
Where are you doing the manufacturing right now?
In our facility in Auburn, Alabama, we do the final assembly. We get different parts made all over the world, US, China, get all those parts and sub-assemblies sent to our facility here in Auburn. And then we do our assembly, testing, put it in a box, ship it to the customer.
Wait, so forgive me, go back. In terms of the growth that you're seeing year over year in terms of revenues, and give me those numbers again, and are you profitable?
We just started selling last month. Like I said, the previous time we spent it all in development, fine-tuning, testing, quality. We just started selling last month. And like I said, we're based out of Auburn.
It's really, really new.
It's really new, but
holds 80 balls.
Go ahead.
Holds 80 balls, 5 hours of battery life, clay courts on hard courts. You say it's the size of a suitcase. On your website, you show somebody putting it into the back of a car. On the clay courts, it looks like it also can sweep the clay courts. Is that right?
That's right. It's a simple accessory we attach to the back of the Tennibot and sweep clay courts. This was an added feature because a lot of coaches were asking for it, and a lot of individuals saying, okay, even when I'm playing with 2-3 balls, I still have to sweep the clay court after, even if I'm not playing with a lot of balls. Is there's a way we can sweep the clay court? So we added this attachment. We ran a lot of tests on it, and so far it's been one of our most popular features.
Where else can you take this technology if you want to grow the tech that you've developed? Where else do you see this going? What's in your product pipeline?
Great question. So the way we look at it is this is a technology that applied for initially tennis and then expanded to racket sports and then other sports. We have over 15 patents and trademarks that cover any round object, not just tennis balls. So we get weekly requests for paddle and pickleball, obviously, because the technology is very similar. And then even a lot of driving ranges and golf courses asking in a way to gamify their experience for their members to simulate something like basically Top Golf and things like this. So you can see us obviously expanding. Next in the pipeline directly is the paddle and pickleball versions, but then after that beyond in other sports as well.
Very, very interesting. So, okay, I know I asked you if you're profitable, and obviously you just started selling. What do you think? When you could see profitability? Is this a multi-year thing or sooner than that? And just got about 30 seconds.
Sooner than that for sure. I expect by next year, if we continue this kind of demand we are seeing right now, by next year we should be profitable.
All right. Well, listen, this was really cool and so timely considering we're here at the U.S. Open. And something like, there's just basic things of what you need, or for players who are practicing, like picking up the balls. Haitham Eletrabi, he is co-founder and CEO of Tennibot, joining us from Auburn, Alabama.
The real innovation is when it can yell at you to keep your head up on your serve.
Get your head in the game.
Maybe talk some smack to you.
Get your head in the game.
So you're out there on the court by yourself. You can really simulate what it's like to be.
I see a room diversion, cleaning up, vacuuming around the house, picking up the kids' toys. There's a use, right?
Oh, Legos. Don't want to step on those.
Legos. This is Bloomberg Businessweek.